in terms of the culture and Rastafari, IjahStar play a very vital role. As we know, one of our famous brother, Sizzla Kalonji, is from IjahStar. Dwayne Stevenson,
right,
is from IjahStar. Etana is also from IjahStar. As a lineage, which is young and upcoming, is also from IjahStar. So that's where I'm from, and I'm from a place in IjahStar called Bedwood Garden, which is across the river, you know. So I'm not from the ghetto. I'm from the river. No, well, not uptown, you know, riverside, you know. Ghetto is a understatement, really. You know? So I'm from the riverbed.
What?
You know?
What?
The riverbed.
IjahStar is my guest right here in the studio, and we're doing some talking. Now, how important is August Town to Jamaica?
August Town is very important because where August Town situated in St. Andrew, it's right next to the University of the West Indies, and you know, we have people traveling to the the university from, you know, all over the world, and sometimes they find themselves in August Town,
right,
residing there and going to, you know, the courses. So August Town is a very important place in Jamaica.
IjahStar is a very important place in Jamaica. This is IjahStar, and we're talking. All right, I mean, a lot of Ghanaians know you as a vlogger, somebody who brings Jamaican music news to the forefront. Is that how you want to be known?
I'm more than a blogger. I don't class myself as a blogger, to be honest. I would class myself more influencer than anything else. But as I say, I'm more than a blogger. I'm a plumber by trade.
Oh wow!
I'm qualified in plumbing engineering at the highest level. I went to college in the UK. And that is where I get my qualification from as a plumber.
Interesting.
Now I work in I don't know if I should mention where
yeah,
I
you
work.
can. Yes, you can.
I work with the local government in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you make some good money.
Oh, Charlie. I don't know if it's good or it's bad, but it's okay. You know, I receive something monthly to look after my family and myself, so it's good.
When did you decide to leave Jamaica?
I left Jamaica at a very young age. I was still in my teens at the time. I don't think I was 16. I probably was about 15 and a half, going 16 at the time. So my mom migrated to the UK, and in return, you know, after spending a couple of years there, she filed for me, and you know,
wow.
I now reside there, and I'm looking to make a transition from the UK into my place of birth, which is Africa, and you know, Ghana. I think is where my what do you call it now?
Ancestral?
Ancestral, thank you. Lineage is from, because I can hear inki tinki tika kranka kra.
Wow.
You know, so
wow.
I know, you know, this is my home, and this is where my lineage is from.
We will be very happy to have you, come be with us here, because this is your home, as you know. But let me go into your upbringing in Jamaica. What was it like?
My upbringing was very good. You know, I grew up with both my parents in the same home. They were both married, and I grew up with a next brother, which is the younger from myself. And he was murdered a couple of years ago.
Murdered?
Yes.
Murdered? What?
Yeah.
Wow, so you are the senior?
I am, yes.
And your younger brother was murdered?
Yes.
Wow. What happened?
Well, A series of things. I don't know the full scope of what really happened, because when you're outside of an environment and you hear a lot of things. You will hear things close to what actually took place, and you won't probably get accurate the accurate information of what really took place. But he was a good young man. I won't say he was a saint, but from growing up with him, he was a very talented young man. He was very good, and he always wanted good for others. So for see his life cut so short, it was a big.
What was he talented in?
Well, he was a footballer, and he actually created history, playing schoolboy football for the school that we used to go. So
was he involved in a gang, or was he being robbed or something like that?
Yes, Jamaica, certain place can be volatile, and I guess he was involved in certain aspect of that side of life, So when you're involved in that side of life, anything can play.
That's right.
And you as family members, we sometimes you can't really prepare yourself for such ordeal. But when you know that an individual might be involved in certain things, then you can look out for something like that happening. But it's never something that we anticipate.
I'm going to ask you the last question about your brother, and we'll move away from that aspect, because I know how you would feel talking about your brethren, in absentia, Do you think that your brother was a murderer too? Was he a killer? With the gang? Did he ever tell you that he was a member of a gang?
No, he never tell me that he was a member of a gang. I don't know if he was a murderer. I couldn't, say yes or no, because, his life that he trod was, his life, his journey was his journey. I wasn't there with him 24/7. But they say birds of a feather flock together. So I guess, when you're seen with people who is of that nature, and you associate yourself with them, people will tag you with it's like a stigma in a sense then.
2 days ago, it was exactly 30 years since Deathsman was killed in Jamaica, and his big brother, Papa San, was called by the Jamaican Star so he could say some things about his brother, and he declined the interview. He said, yes, we have moved on in life, but it doesn't mean we have forgotten what happened to us. So I'm going to take a cue from that, and I'm not going to ask you any more questions about your brother, because we all have had people in our family who we lost somewhere along the journey. But probably the very last one, do you miss him sometimes?
I miss him all the time, because he was someone who I look after, as a young brother, and sometime in return, him growing up, he would do the same, because we're not much apart in age. I think I was about 2 years older than him, so I do miss him. I miss him all the time. I've got children, and sometimes I feel a way that they don't get the chance to experience having an uncle, and I know the type of individual he is. I remember when my first daughter, my oldest daughter, was born, and he was so loving and kind, and and she loved him. So he was a good virgin, and I missed him, and hopefully in a next life, if there is, I would get to, to share a moment with him again.
All right. So, I mean, yes, for real. You are based in England where you ply your trade and you're looking forward to moving on to Ghana.
Yes.
Where is this inspiration from?
Well, as I said, Ghana, Africa, is a big part of my life. I'm a Rastafari, first and foremost. I'm also a Pan-Africanist, and the whole vibe of Africa, that's where it's stemming from. The relationship with Rastafari, and the Pan-African movement. It was always something that point us to Africa. Marcus Garvey is seen as the godfather of Pan-Africanism.
Right.
And one of his slogans was, Africa for the Africans,
yes.
home and abroad,
yes.
born and unborn. So I, being an African born in the diaspora, it's always imperative for myself to know my roots, because Jamaica is not my roots. I was taken there.
Right.
Illegally, some of us, and some were sold and brought there. So
right.
I know that Jamaica is not for me, and Africa is where I need to return, because this is the route. Before I came to Ghana, I was here January, and now I'm here at the end December. But before I came here, I always feel something within my spirit calling me home. I have number of visions.
Wow.
Seeing myself here in Africa, not specifically here in Ghana, but a lot of visions, number of visions, seeing myself here.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know that I always want to come to Africa.
You always wanted to come to Africa, not necessarily Ghana. How did you find yourself in Ghana?
Well, how I find myself in Ghana, Ghana is the gateway, as we've been told over the years, and I love the color, the red, gold, and green, and that black 5-pointed star, which I think have a lot to do with Marcus Garvey again.
Right.
I think of our past president, Kwame Nkrumah, is who initiated the black star to be put into the red, gold, and green.
For real.
And that was something that Marcus Garvey envisioned.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
That's how I find myself in Africa, being a Pan-Africanist, and knowing that I have to return home no matter what, not even the biggest battleships that is in the West could ever stop me from returning home.
Interesting. So, I mean, doing blogging and, talking about reggae music and Rastafari and all that, how did that interest come to a plumber?
Oh, very interesting. I remember when I just left college, and I wanted to get into the plumbing field of employment, and I had my first job, which was with a major company at the time in London, and I remember going into a supplier to get some stuff that I need to do a job, and when I went in there, I was having a little issue because I was very new to the system that was being used, and a brethren who worked for the same company introduced himself and start to show me, give me a bit of help basically. And from that day on, we became very good friends. He decided that he wanted to start a radio station, and I I volunteered to be one of the DJs at the time, because I like playing music, I like listening music. So from there, he started the radio station called Black Rock Radio Station, which was an internet based radio station online. So I decided that I wanted not only to play music, but I wanted to do something interesting. And as a young man growing up, I grew up listening Muta Baruka, and he had a very interesting talk program, which is still running today, which is the Cutting Edge. So Muta was a big inspiration for me, and also Winford Williams from the On Stage. So I thought to myself, I'm going to kind of fuse those two programs together and create a program of myself called the Mindset Program. And I started doing the Mindset Program, I think from 2014, and a Wednesday evening from 7 till 10. And from then, this is where I am now, speaking with my good brother, Black Rasta.
Interesting. Thank you so much, IjahStars. And we have been picking inspiration from you too from afar. Sometimes I watch your channel and I am like, whoa, this is good information enough for me to put on radio, and we get some good information out there. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Now, I am going to ask you this. You are going to relocate to Ghana. Do you know how soon?
Well, I'm here now. Relocation. When I say relocation, it's actually repatriation. Or some people kind it as migration. I don't see it as migration because I'm an African. I can't migrate to where I'm originally from. And then again, I'm not a bird. I think it's only birds that migrate when the seasons change, So it's a process, and it's not an overnight process, and it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of finance to relocate. One thing I would say, being someone who is from the diaspora now looking to return home, I think that because we were taken out illegally, some of us, I think that better preparation or better way to aid us in the diaspora coming home to make that transition. I think better things need to put in place here in Africa, not just Ghana, but Ghana can start. I think the year of return was a good initiative from the current president, and I think going forward, if we do more things like that and make land, I think land is very important for us as ones who are coming from the diaspora. We someone was having a conversation with myself earlier, I think last week, and he was telling me about land is important. Land is power, and it's where you also know your ancestry lineage. If you come to Ghana and you don't know if you're Ewe, Fanti, or Ashanti, land is very difficult to come by. So you'll have to fork out a lot of money to aid yourself with land. So I think that is something that need to address, because white need to address. We who are coming from the diaspora, we come with finance. We don't just come with our bare hands. We come with finance, and we come with intelligence, we come with skills, and we come with craft. So I think that need to take into consideration, because when we say finance, we're talking about English pound, and I know how people love English pound. I know how people love US dollars. So,
Right.
you know, we're coming and we're contributing. So I think necessary provision need to make for us also coming from the diaspora.
Certainly, the year of return had a lot of problems and setbacks, and we thought that historians like us should have been involved more seriously so that we could, look at the year of return as not, in fact, a financial kind of gain, a commercial kind of thing, an economic kind of thing, where our brethren and sisters are returning home and we see them as people who are just coming to do business and to invest in our country, when we should rather see it as, our country as in, it's your country, it's my country, and you're returning to the ancestors. The ancestors are calling. You are not coming here as an investor. You are not coming here as a migrant. You are coming here as a brother who left either by force or by force, and is home right now. I believe that with the coming years, we are going to be able to do it better so that our brethren and sisters coming from the diaspora will feel more welcome. I don't see why you have to be aligned to any particular ethnic group before you, get a piece of land here. It doesn't make sense. This is silly. In fact, and we have talked about this over and over. For instance, a lot of Jamaican people come in here and all they say is we are Ashanti, because Ashanti is all they know. They do not know about the other 100 ethnic groups that we have in the country. And when some of them have the opportunity to travel up now, they say, I feel like I rather come from this part. I can say that for Jimmy Cliff, who was here and got to the northern part, and he said, it looks like my life is more like the people from this area and all that. And when you check the history, you realize that, in fact, a lot of our people, Jamaican people and people from the Caribbean, came from the northern part of this region. And not necessarily from the Ashanti here. Some, yes, but a lot more came from the north. And the history would show it when you get a little deeper into it. I don't want this to be a history class. We were going to leave it. And it's IjahStar's Day. Unfortunately, we have to wind up now. But reggae music.
Yes.
You've been talking about reggae music on your channel and so on and so forth. How do you find Ghana reggae?
I find Ghana reggae very powerful. You have some very key players here, like yourself, Osajifo, I1. There's a few others that that are
right.
Real reggae artists and is doing a lot for reggae in Ghana. But from I was out in the diaspora. I always say that African reggae is a very powerful tool. It have a very powerful message.
Right.
I think because what we gone through in the West is a little bit different from what are happening here on the continent. So. It's all the same, very powerful. I find it very, very interesting, very smooth. I can't pronounce the word, but very smooth, soothing to the soul.
Right. Powerful. Now I realized that there was a time you wanted to put up a concert here, charity concert. True?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did a virtual charity concert online for the Deaf and the Blind, Deaf and Blind School in Cape Coast. I did that, I think, in 2018. I had King Legacy on there as a DJ. I had Gunya Dread as a artist. I had Loot and Fire, Perfect Gidimani, just to name a few, But it was very good. It was very, very powerful.
Is there going to be a repetition of this time around, not virtual but maybe live?
I'm in talks with a few brethren to make it possible. It won't be possible, obviously, for this year, but in the coming future, hopefully next year, we can make it happen.
For real.
Make it a reality.
IjahStar, I want to say thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate you. We've run out of time, but if you have any other thing you want to add, please, you can do that now.
Yes, I just wanted to add that we also did some charity work recently in the month, donating some clothes to the Osu Children's Home. And it was very received. It was very well received.
Wow.
Yeah. So
thank you.
I'm grateful to do that, and I'm happy that I can come here and share. I'm not a selfish person, and I'm happy that Ghana accept me as a son and as a brother and a father.
Thank you so much, IjahStar, for talking to us. We appreciate you that you're able to make it into the studios for us to have a chat. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure and an honor. Black Rasta, blessed.